What is up, you guys? The Fallout What If you're here, and today I gotta be doing a video which I did want to do for a very long time. This is oh sheesh. Okay, so this is what if Deku was the reborn Galavantian Knight. What do I mean by reborn? We'll talk about it in the story. So, right now, a man named Brock Housia was a jolly man. He was somebody who fought for the greater good. He fought for the women and children. He fought for the elderly. He fought to maintain peace and order. Over his years, he's always been around places, going from city to city, from country to country. He's made his own band of merry followers, which, if you guys don't understand, it's a bunch of soldiers who basically he saved over his years, and there's about a good 20 of them. Then after that, he decided to try to find marriage, or he tried to find somebody to fall in love with. He has. And he's lived a very comfortable life. But the armies were going to be fighting very soon. And basically, Brock fell ill. Brock is a man who's, like I said, he's a very tall man, and he always had the power to summon a sword on his side. Not only that, he always had his own armor. But here's the thing. While this was happening, Brock fought for the greater good, but there was a battle he lost. This was a man who had the power to take anybody's abilities. But since abilities were so rare in his world, he could never, he could never get a lot. But there was this one man who was rumored to have an ability. And this ability would be known as Galavanti. Now, this man is known as All for One. Their version of All for One. There's multiple versions of him around the world, or around the universes. Now, he's fought one battle at his age of a good 28. But he lost after there was a cannon that hit his side. After that, he didn't have an arm anymore. So basically, he was in recovery. But they all thought he was dead, until he woke up with bandages. These bandages were all over Brock. He cried out, saying, "Why was nobody there?" And they said that he basically died, and he's the only known survivor to be ever to get out alive while versing this version of All for One and his army. So his army died. He got back up and grabbed his sword. Even with all these bandages and broken armor, he made his own armor once again by enchanting it with a bunch of spells. Not only that, he enchanted it with the ability of life bringing. It's called the life bringer. It makes him revive the dead. But the thing was, he was too weak to cast the very powerful one. So all he did was recasted his spell towards the undead soldiers. And basically they got back up. And they were all basically burnt and skeletized. Because they basically got hit with a bunch of abilities which turned them into actual dead creatures. Now, Brock said that this was no use, and he stopped the summoning. He basically went around the world to fight all the people who attacked him, who've done him wrong. All he wanted was to find peace, but he could never find it. Until the day he found All For One and his army. And Brock Housia ran up to him with a horse. Now, this horse was the horse that he had as a child. This horse was a very old one, but it still served his master well. But it was dead after he got hit on the collision, or when he got hurt when the bombs attacked him. So he decided to just use the only dead horse in his arsenal, got on the horse and rode all the way. After that, he found where freaking All For One's army was, and he charged. Now, they started attacking him, but he took on the better half of them. They were all dying because of the fact that a lot of them were dying because this man was known for his speed, for his strength. Not only that, he always had an immense aura around him. And he basically was running away from all the people who were attacking him by setting traps as well, making sure that when they chased him, they would find an unpleasant surprise. Now, he decided to attack them once again. And basically, knowing where all the traps was at, he got the better half of the event, or he had the advantage. And he took down his All For One's army. But here's the thing. All For One saw this, and he said, Well. You've done pretty well for yourself, Brock Housia. But the thing is, that was just one of my armies. And then he summoned 20 armies full of 1,000 people in each army. 20,000 soldiers. And there was only Brock Housia. Brock knew that he might die. But that is when a couple of hands grabbed him. Not only that, his last memory of his wife was, "Please, Brock, do not leave. I don't want you to go." And Brock said, "It's alright. Just smile and I'll be there in your heart." And she says that she's pregnant. And Brock said, "If I die, tell our child that I loved him. But if I do live, I'll tell him how much I love him." She cried and gave him a big kiss, not knowing that he's about to die very soon. So, a bunch of people start pushing him towards the army, and it was his crew. It was his army that wasn't there. All he could feel was a bunch of people just telling him that he has it. He can do it. They believe in him. Brock ran towards the army as fast as he could, running as fast as lightning itself, as people would say, and basically starts slashing through countless people. Everybody attacking him, but not caring at all of his injuries, started to keep going towards everybody, trying to get to All For One. And then he starts losing a lot of blood. He starts to feel unconscious, but he thinks, "No, I don't want to die just yet. I have to keep going. I have to keep going." And basically just keeps going at it, slashing and slashing, even though he's being burnt, even though he's being struck by lightning. Because his followers, that is known as All For One's followers, has abilities of their own. But they decided, hey, we can use this if it serves our master's purpose. And all that happens is a bunch of them start attacking him with their abilities. He starts using different kinds of armor, trying to protect himself as much as he can. But the fact of the matter is he's still just too weak. The armor's cracking around him. But he keeps going at it again. His sword breaks, he makes another one. But here's the thing. Every time he keeps attacking and attacking, he's wasting his own energy. He keeps going at it, and even more. Losing blood. Losing consciousness. Just for a bit. And then after that, all he could just do is just walk. And all the villains stop. Or all for One's followers stop. And that's because All for One said, let him pass. I will see to it myself that this pathetic worm will die a painful death. But because of the fact that you still fought, even though you have all these injuries, is commendable. So I will let you come as close as you want. I might as well let your death be a painful one. Oh, wow. And this is when Brock starts walking up to him, grabbing his hand, and then smacking his freaking shoulder. And this is when All for One says, I know you're very tired right now, but is that truly the best you can do? And this is when Brock says, no. This is the best I can do. Using all of his strength, slashed freaking All for One down. All for One starts coughing up a lot of blood because he hit his face, his chest, also a part of his throat. And All for One was bleeding. But this is when all the villains are trying to attack him. And once Brock turned around, he said, come on, I'm not scared of you. And this is when he feels a stab go through his freaking chest. And this is when All for One says, you are truly a fascinating creature. But if that's the best your ability can do, then I want no part of it. If it's so feeble, then yes, I don't want any part of it. But you still, and I do mean this, you still got a little bit of me. For that, I thank you. And then a bunch of sticks or a bunch of metal just starts popping out of Brock, him coughing up blood. And his final thoughts was, thank you, everyone. Thank you, crew. Thank you for believing in me and pushing me on one last time. Thank you, Hunt dear, for giving me for birthing a child that's mine. Thank you, child, for giving me the strength to fight. He thanks everybody, his king from his country, the soldiers that raised him as a child, everybody that he thanked, the ones who had his back then, he thanks. And that's when Brock says his another thing. I am the Galavantian Knight. I am the one who is made of light, who fights in and day in and night. Hold on. I am the one who fights in the day and night. I am the one who will help people fight. I am the Galavantian Knight. And basically he dies. Now, we get to the point of the story where basically that whole universe is already out of his grasp. He can't go back there for the time being. Because the one thing All For One can do is go to where Izuku is at. But because he's a child, he thinks, no, I don't want to go to him anymore. Yes, he was a good fight, indeed. And yes, I fought him at his lowest. But he should have been prepared for more than that. Brock Housia. I'm glad I had this little tussle with you. Nobody's ever scarred me before. Except for you. Well, anyway, I should be off doing whatever I please. And then wears a merchant suit. Or after that, All For One wears just a regular suit of armor. So that way nobody knows who he is. A walking mystery among the night. Now, while this is happening, his soul is going towards Deku. And it lands inside Deku. And this is when Deku's eyes are shown to be golden. After that, his hair turns red and black. Not only that, the day he was born, Inko saw him and Deku was smiling. Smiling and laughing around. They thought this was very weird, but they also knew that Izuku is just a baby. It's probably just different. Now, over the years, Izuku did not know what his past was. Not only that, he was a little more taller than the rest of the people. He does not know why. He thinks that maybe something was wrong with him as a child. He thinks that something must have happened. His quirk probably is like that because he has an ability and he has his quirk. And here's the thing. Inko has her telekinesis and Hisashi has his Spitfire. Now, Deku was going to have Endeavor's quirk since the two are combined. Give me a second here. Now, we get on to the whole point of the freaking anime because Deku, let's say he's not like this, but he is like this. As a toddler, he decides to go run around, but for some reason, at 3 years old, he runs a little more faster than a bunch of the little students that are around him. Deku, not only that, has great reflexes because when sometimes, let's say this, when the teacher accidentally dropped like the pet fish, let's just say that it was a glass bowl with a pet fish in it, Deku saw this and grabbed it immediately. And this is when she basically sees that Deku did that and said, "Oh, thank you, Izuku. Look at that. It was pretty amazing what you just did there, kid. Here, you earn a golden star today for saving the fish." And Deku and Bakugo basically get along just well because here's the thing. Deku is a very, and I mean this, very nice person. I mean, when people sometimes fight him, or not fight him, when people like accidentally hit him, he gets hit, but Deku knows that these people don't mean wrong. And even though Bakugo is cocky at times, Deku just, Deku is so nice to him that Bakugo can't be like, "What are you smiling at, you nerd?" "What are you smiling at, Deku?" No, he's just all like, "Oh, hey, Deku." Just super happy, and basically this calms down Bakugo's ego by a lot. Bakugo doesn't know why. Why? Why does he, the freaking best of the best, the person who wants to become the #1 hero, is okay with this? Even when they find out their quirks, Deku always showed off his quirk at the age of 3, which isn't even a quirk, it was his ability. So, Izuku has the ability, and I'm going to say this probably once, and probably twice if I get even farther. He can summon swords, armor, and not only that, he can summon the undead. And I do mean just skeletons. And the more he gets older, he's going to summon a bunch of people who he served with. And they're strong. Don't get me wrong. Here's the thing. You guys probably think that they are weak. No, they're not weak at all. They're strong, but the thing is, the Galavantian Knight was stronger than that. So that's why they were okay with serving him. Let's see. So he can summon swords and his armor. And he has different ones too. Give me a second here. He can summon this one, and then after that he can summon this one. Pretty much all that. And yeah, his first one ever was this. Because I'll tell you why right now. And this is going to be why he knows who he is now, or how he found out his whole identity, or something like that. Now, Izuku and basically Bakugo, and I don't know who. Let's just say a random girl. Let's say Mai, she was there. All right, let's just say that Mai was there. The one who talks about her babies and all that stuff. Deku basically was playing around with Bakugo and Mai, and basically a villain showed up. Now, this villain was just a random villain who has, let's say, a claw quirk, so he can basically grab you with claws. He just basically has claws. So, Deku and basically Bakugo and Mai were talking until the guy came around. Now, what does happen is this. Izuku and Bakugo see who the guy is, and basically they're like, "Oh, hi, mister. How was your day today?" And the guy's like, "Can it, kid? I gotta take one of you. Let's say you look a little more taller, and you look a little more taller." And basically, Deku was being grabbed, and he's like, "But wait a minute, why am I being held? Or why are you doing this?" And it's like, "Shut up." And Bakugo gets mad and says, "Hey, don't take my friend, you jerk." And it explodes the guy's face. The guy gets hurt, and Deku sees that Bakugo's going to get hit. So, Deku summons his armor, and basically puts his hands out and says, "You can't hurt him." And the guy just punches Deku in the face. But here's the thing. The guy's like, "Ah, crap. What the heck? Oh, man, my hand hurts." Blowing at it and just like trying to make sure it's healed. Because here's the thing. Deku's armor is so strong that nobody knows why it's strong, but the fact is that Deku has super armor on. Basically, it means that no matter what happens, as long as he's wearing that, he's invulnerable to a lot of attacks from the guy. So, the guy tries to hit him again, and Deku falls backwards, but Deku just gets scared and summons 2 swords. After that, Deku just charged at him and smacked the guy in the freaking foot with a sword, and accidentally cut the guy's hand, a little bit of his hand off, or not his hand, like, he basically scratched his hand with the sword. I was like, "Ow! What the heck is this kid's problem?" And Bakugo got up in the air, and shot what's called a couple explosions, but Bakugo basically was grabbed by the neck. And Deku tried to charge at him, but his ability didn't work anymore. It's not that it didn't work anymore. It's the fact that now, all of a sudden, he's out of his own energy. He hasn't ever actually used his summoning or his summon abilities, but he knows how to use his quirk. So, Deku was going to shoot fire, but the guy scratched him in the eye. So, Deku has a nasty scar on there, but he's always smiling like an idiot. So, the guy, he was laughing a bit like, ow, that actually hurts. And the guy is kind of freaked out because he's like, oh crap, I screwed up. When a kid's okay with pain, that means he must be very strong. But this is when Deku just shoots out fire, and he just roars a bunch of fire at the guy. And the guy's like on fire, running away. But this is when Bakugo and Deku charge at him, flying up in the air, because basically Deku can shoot out fire out of his feet. And Bakugo can shoot out fire or explosions out of his feet as well, because he has his hands and the bottom of his feet have the same crystallization on the hand. If you guys don't understand what I'm trying to say, look at your foot and then look at your hand and then see that they look the same, the exact same color. But when you flip them around and see the back part of your hand and the back and the top part of your foot, you can see it's much more darker or lighter. It's a weird thing, but Bakugo can do that if he has a sweat around his feet. As disgusting as it is, it's very resourceful. So basically, they're shooting to the guy, and Deku just tells Bakugo to hit him in the back, and Bakugo's like, I'm not gonna hit him in the back. I'm gonna charge for the head. And this is when the guy. Oh, sheesh. Okay, I'm okay. I'm okay. Ah, crap, something fell on my head. But anyway, so, the guy, Bakugo was trying to charge at his head, but the guy grabbed him, and he says, you're too slow. And, give me a second here. Oh, sheesh. Well, basically, Deku hit the guy straight in the balls. Balls deep, I say. That kind of deep. Man, dude, like, he charged as fast as he could. So Deku and freaking Bakugo were charging at him. Technically, the guy was, like, at least a good 15 meters away, because he's running as fast as he can after knowing how strong these kids truly are. And so he decided, like, yeah, I'm not going to stay around and, like, get hurt even more with Fire Boy and explosion grenades. Yeah, so Deku just flew as fast as he could. And yeah, Bakugo was actually first, because the fact of the matter is Deku only chased him because of Bakugo. So, let's see. Oh yeah. So Deku was going around a good 40, let's say like a good 20 at first, miles per hour. Because that's how fast he would probably be going right now when he's like shooting it out of his hands and his feet. So, let's see. Oh yeah, hold on. Give me a second here. So yeah, pretty much the guy is hurt. Deku is like hitting his head because it's like he technically got teabagged. But yeah, pretty much other than that, the guy's already on the ground. And basically Mai is so happy because these two like saved her in a way. Because let's say this, that she was scared, but the fact of the matter is that Deku saved them because he like protected Bakugo, and pretty much all that happened. Yeah, pretty much she's grateful to him. Let's see. So they actually become a little bit good friends. And Deku is always running around because basically he's always jolly. Because his life isn't as hard as back then. But he does now remember who he is. That slight memory of everything, of his death, made him scared and shudder. But his aura starts to show up again. And that's when basically Deku, in the next day, realizes who he is very well. I will tell you that much. He knows who he is now. So basically, telling Inko, oh yeah, I'm basically known as the Galavantian Knight. That's not going to do that's not going to do a lot of that's not going to do well. It's going to do a lot of more damage to him, because basically she'll think that Deku is crazy. So Deku decides just not to tell her at all. If she does find out for some reason, yeah, he'll tell her. But yeah, pretty much after all that, Deku is running, is always running around, and he's made a lot of other friends. He's met Kirishima, and not only that, he's met Jiro, Momo, let's see, Ashido. He's met a lot of them. Not only that, he's met Shinso, and he told him how cool his quirk was. Let's see, he met Todoroki already, and let's see, pretty much he's made a lot of friends. He's so happy with life that a lot of people are so friendly with him, are so freaking friendly with him. Yeah, that's it. So basically, they become closer. They all become close together. I don't know how to say this, but yeah, pretty much. Let me just give me a second here. I think I gotta write this down right here, because probably I need to remember it. Oh, and yeah, I do have my own notebook, so that way I won't just forget about anything willy-nilly. Give me a second here. So anyway. Let's say this. We skip to at least a good 4 to 5. Screw it. Let's start at the season where let's start at the freaking part of the anime. So basically, Bakugo doesn't say a thing, and that's mostly because of the fact that he's not cocky anymore. He's more of a humble person. Why? Well, because Bakugo got peer pressure by Deku just to be a nicer person. Basically, what was I gonna say? Basically, Deku talked him out of like being always angry, to the point where whatever Bakugo does, it's meaningless now. So so what am I gonna say? I do know that freaking Deku, Deku himself, he's basically gotten much more bigger. And basically he's like, he's a good 7, he's actually a good 7 feet. If you guys don't believe me, he's 7 feet. Freaking All Might is what, like 6 something? And that's mostly because of the fact that, he was always born tall. Tall, I mean. He's not even, Ida is tall, but freaking Deku is tall. And pretty much, a lot of them mistake Deku for an adult, because not only does his face kind of look like an adult's, not only that, basically, not Bakugo, and he's also has a scar. Not a lot of people these days have scars. So, yeah, pretty much it's weird. But, Deku is basically calm around this kind of stuff. But, basically, Deku is a little more, he's just much more kinder. Not only that, he's able to summon his weapons the way he wants it to be. And not only that, he could summon armor. Because back then, he used to summon this, and that was his go-to weapon, his go-to stuff. But now he could summon this, and he's an actual, he's basically much more of a crusader slash knight. And not only that, Let's see. Not only that, he's friends with Todoroki, like I said, Kirishima, Jiro, Momo, Ashido, Froppy, Kaminari, Bakugo, Mai, and Shinso. Now, what's called Kaminari, Momo, Ashido. Basically, they're more of a side character thing, and basically, yeah, they're around Deku's squad, and pretty much Deku always just goes around places with them, and he's a drinker. I mean, he drinks a lot. He's always happy, and one of his favorite heroes is Miss Joke. Not only that, he always had a crush on her because of the whole freaking, like, Miss Joke is so, Miss Joke to her is, like, very beautiful, and, yeah, he also has, like, a crush on freaking, Mai as well. That's pretty much it for, yeah, pretty much it, because Mai is basically super good nowadays with her technology, and he just likes Miss Joke because she's a very kind person, and she's very funny, and it always helps him out with her jolly personality. So yeah, I don't know who to choose, to be honest. So, I really don't know. These are two candidates that I'm thinking of. So if you want to have Miss Joke, then yeah, it'll be Miss Joke. But if you guys want Mai, then basically, how would I say this? Then basically you'll get Mai. But you guys have to tell me. That way I can understand what you guys always want. And yeah, pretty much it's not going to be a 2 thing. It's just going to be 1. But basically, Deku just wants to go with her. Or with one of them. So, now let's see. Let's see. Oh, yes. So, basically, Deku versus the Sludge Villain. Because he's just knowing... He knows the fact of the matter is, that freaking Deku... Or no, Deku versus the Sludge Villain... Deku automatically won because he's much more bigger than a Sludge Villain. So when the Sludge Villain tries to grab him, Deku is removing him by grabbing a chunk of him and just throwing it onto the other side, and he keeps doing this. And 5 times that the Sludge Villain tried to keep going at it, he already lost, but Deku summons his sword and slashes it. Not only that, he summons his aura, which is covered in flames. So basically, Deku's armor... Let's say the white part of this stuff, like the white lightning and all that stuff, that's his freaking, the fire is all around him when he wears that. So Deku just automatically is like standing guard. So that way nobody else can like, hurt anybody else. But this is when All Might fights him, or the Sludge Villain. And after that, basically Deku helps him out. You know, the whole freaking questioning who is he, and he's, you know, I am here, and this time I get to fight the Sludge Villain. Yeah. So anyway, Deku speaks to him, and they're actually having a productive conversation. They're talking about freaking, like, how it's cool that each of their quirks is awesome. And not only that, he has memories of All For One. Because of the whole freaking fight between All For One and freaking Deku, or Brock Housia. Deku's just always wondering, why does he always feel like this around freaking All Might? Or he's wondering why he's feeling like this around All Might. Why does he have this sense of, like a sense of, power, like, flowing within All Might to just give him the same exact, feeling to have freaking near All For One? Because here's the thing. All For One never showed his face, but because because Brock himself, Deku's reincarnate, basically slashed him around like his neck and his whole freaking body. He was just thinking like it just feels weird, but Deku doesn't think about this any longer, and he says how great it is to speak to him. But anyway, Deku talks to freaking All Might and says he must be going because he has to go home and talk with his folks. And basically that's what happens. So, they say their goodbyes. Deku and freaking, what's your face? No. Deku goes home, and this is when when Deku's crew is around him and says, "Oh, hey Zuko, what happened?" And Deku says he got to meet All Might, and that was kind of cool. And I was like, wait a minute, you get to meet All Might? Oh, that's so freaking awesome. And Brock goes like, yeah, I know. You got to meet All Might, but how come you didn't tell us anything about it? Did you at least take a picture? A selfie, whatever. And Deku was like, yeah, I kind of forgot. And he was like, yeah, it's kind of true. A lot of us would forget because, yeah, this is All Might we're talking about. So, they're actually training for the next 10 weeks, or the next 10 months, and Deku's already a freaking beast. I mean, when Deku swung his sword at full power, it basically caused Dagobah Beach and its garbage to disintegrate. Or not disintegrate, to catch on fire. Because Deku knows how to do all these moves now. But let's see. Alright. So basically, Deku and Bakugo have been training in their fire styles. Because Bakugo and Deku also know how to do all this stuff. Or am I saying this right? Deku and Bakugo, because of what they can do, and they know how to use fire, that's their kind of go-to. And Deku has talked to Todoroki before about his whole freaking, about his whole freaking quirk fiasco. And basically, Todoroki is much more inclined to do this because Deku is so nice to him. And not only that, he's trained Shinso to be much more better in his quirk. And Deku can't be affected by it anymore. Because his soul is somewhat there, and his soul is not somewhat there. What am I trying to say? Well, that because of the whole fact that Deku's soul was supposed to be entirely there, Brock's soul is not there entirely. So, basically, his soul was kind of fused, but at the same time, Deku doesn't see him as himself. Deku sees himself as Brock. But at the same time, he also sees him as somebody who isn't Brock. It's so confusing, but I'll just dumb it down. Because Deku and Brock weren't entirely synced together in their souls, they basically are two different people, but at the same time one. So, Deku automatically, let's see. Oh, yes. I have an idea. Basically, the whole freaking, 10 months are up. So now we just go to the freaking, UA entrance exam. And basically, Deku and freaking everybody that he knows is there. And they're like, oh boy. Deku is going to pass. He's going to surpass us all. That's what he's thinking. Why does he think like that? Well, because Deku is very strong. He's to the point of strong where a lot of people might be actually scared of this. Like, because Deku might destroy the whole freaking place. So, basically, Ida doesn't do his thing. Because nobody cares about Ida. And basically, Deku just didn't care at all. So, when it comes to 3, 2, 1, and go, Deku just basically blitzes everybody. Let's say this, Kaminari and Mina, and let's say Shinso were there. And the whole fact of the matter was Deku blitzed between the both of them. So, how do I say this? I don't know how to say this. Crap. Let's just say this. Everybody got pushed back. There we go. So, when that happened, Deku said sorry because... yeah, he basically did all that. So, how would I say this? Basically, Deku and Deku slashing a lot of the villains. Ida was complaining about the whole swords thing, and it's not supposed to be there. And basically, how would I say this? Basically, Deku says it's part of his quirk and all that stuff. He's done nothing illegitimate. He's all legit. All right. And basically, President Mike says, well, if the kid says he's legit. Come on now, people. And Deku was like, thank you. Oh, sheesh. Oh, yeah. And I'm thinking about this. Deku can summon his horse because he's been able to summon the horse for quite a while. So when he rides on him, Ida's all like, but President Mike, there has to be a limit to what we can do with our quirks. Look at him. He's already doing that. And this is when Deku just says, yeah, but it's still a part of my quirk. And President Mike is like, well, it's a part of his quirk. Ida's all like, come on now, you gotta be And then after that, Deku is already attacking a lot of them. And here's the thing. Deku's horse is very fast. Why? Well, because it served Brock for all of his life. The day it was born until the day it died, it served only him. It served nobody else. Deku was glad that that his steed, how would I say this? He named his steed Charlotte. Yeah, pretty much he named his steed Charlotte. I'm sorry if I'm not sounding correct or anything like that, but I'm pretty much remembering what I was going to say. This is all on notes too, so that way I can make sure I can remember everything. But basically all that happens was, well, Deku was there, and pretty much that's it. Now, we get to the whole point where Ochako needs to be saved, and Deku charged straight in with his sword. And basically, the villain itself, the freaking Zero Pointer, was trying his best to automatically do what it's supposed to do, but it was too slow for Deku and his steed, Charlotte. So Deku and Charlotte just basically rode as fast as they could, and after that, Deku slashed its freaking legs, or basically the legs that it was supposed to have. And not only that, it's going straight through the sludge. I mean, not the sludge. The Zero Pointer. There we go. Whew. Okay. Breathe, and action. Deku out of she's so breathe. Okay. So, Deku and Charlotte basically cut a hole through the freaking Zero Pointer. Why? Well, because Deku did it to the whole point where he basically went so fast that it pierced through it. Now here's the thing that I'm going to say. Deku and Deku and Charlotte cut through its head. It's cutting through its head. Let's see. I really don't know what I was going to say here, but I know it's going to... Oh, sheesh. Give me a second here. Okay, so basically it cut a freaking hole through its freaking chest. Not only that, it slashed its head, like it chopped it off. And basically the Zero Pointer died. Now, Deku just carried freaking Ochako while riding away with her. And she thinks, oh wow, this is kind of romantic. But Deku's thinking is that he needs to now go home because he's hungry. And he needs a stiff drink. Vodka. Tequila. A good scotch. Blue balls on the rocks. Something like that. I don't really know. But anyway, Deku got first place. A good 500. No. Let's just say this. A good 300 and something. And how would I say this? Let's see. Oh yeah. Deku waited 2 weeks. because freaking what's his face? All Might said, "Oh hey, Deku, I'm going to try to give you all for one. I mean, one, speak to me and I'll talk to you about this stuff." And Deku just automatically said, "All right." And now he's basically done. 2 weeks are up. He goes to school, and that's where I'm going to leave it off. Now, like, comment, do subscribe to the channel here, people. This has been the Fallout with Iffy here. Bye.